Hello everybody, it is Stella from New Hope Wellbeing. So sorry that I'm running just a little bit later than I usually get today's video out. Just got some family stuff going on at the minute with my grandmother, so just needed a bit of time just to sort through some of that. But I am here right now, and we are going to be discussing one of the probably more well-known titans today, and that is Prometheus. So Prometheus is the titan god of forethought and crafty counsel, and he was given the task of molding mankind out of clay. So that's how the ancients thought we were first formed. His attempts to better the lives of his creations brought him into conflict with Zeus. Firstly, he tricked the gods out of the best portion of the sacrificial feast, acquiring the meat for the feasting man. And Zeus was then left with just left with the bones. And then, when Zeus without fire, he stole it from heaven and delivered it to the mortals inside of a fennel stalk. As punishment for these rebellious acts, Zeus ordered the creation of Pandora, the first woman, as a means to deliver misfortune into the house of man, as this was a way to cheat mankind out of the company of good spirits. Prometheus, meanwhile, was arrested and bound to a stake on Mount Caucasus, where an eagle was set to feed upon his ever-regenerating liver. Some stories do say heart. I've generally heard it to be liver, so if you've heard heart, there are some stories that do say that as well. Generations later, the great hero Hercules came along and released the old titan from his tortures. So Prometheus is loosely identified in cult and myth with the fire god Hephaestus and the giant Tityos. Prometheus' love life, unlike his rebellious endeavours, was relatively straightforward. His most notable relationship was with Peronia, a mysterious figure in Greek mythology. Peronia, whose name suggests forethought or providence, was a fitting partner for Prometheus. Together, they bore a son named Deculion. I always get these names said wrong. And their union, though not as celebrated as other divine relationships, was one of mutual respect and shared ideals. Both valued humanity and often intervened in their favour, even if it meant going against the wishes of the more powerful gods. Prometheus would also have two other children, Helen and Adios, but it's Deculion who is more well known, and his story is very similar to that of Noah in the Christian Bible. Like Noah, he survived the Great Flood, responsible for wiping out the rest of humanity, and he was able to do so by floating in a massive chest for 9 days and 9 nights. He and his wife Priya were the only survivors, and they were credited with repopulating the human race. Prometheus, whose name translates to foresight, convinced his brother Epimetheus to fight alongside him with the Olympian gods led by Zeus. In fact, Prometheus was one of the battle's ringleaders, helping Zeus defeat the Titans and take control of the heavens in a struggle said to have lasted for over a decade. He switched sides in support of the victorious Olympians simply because the Titans refused to follow his advice to apply trickery and deception in the battle. His two other brothers, Atlas and Menotheus, remained loyal and fought with their fellow Titans. However, they and the rest of the Titans were defeated, proving it's wise to follow someone with the name Forethought. He switched sides in support of the victorious Olympians simply because the Titans refused to follow his advice. I've written that out, typed that one out twice, so sorry. However, Prometheus wanted to give his creations a greater purpose. sorry. Oh, sorry, now I understand, yeah. Sorry, my own notes are confusing me tonight. However, Prometheus wanted to give his creations a greater purpose and completely opposed Zeus's decree. So when asked by Zeus how sacrifices were to be made, the cunning Prometheus devised a trick to give humans a bit more power, and that's how we get the meat in the sacrifice, but Zeus would get the bones. And it was around this time and when he stole the fire that the relationship between Zeus and Prometheus began to sour. And then when Zeus declared himself the sovereign ruler of both gods and men, in Prometheus' eyes, humankind deserved much better than Zeus's tyrannical treatment. The rift between the forethinker and the thunderer really took shape when Zeus tasks. Oh, so yeah, so this is just going into how the sacrifice came out. So when Zeus tasked Prometheus with divvying up the meat of a large ox into two separate meals. One meal was for the gods, while the other was for the humans. As the creator of humans, Prometheus had an affinity to them. So not content with his command, he tricked Zeus by wrapping a portion of bones in fat and covering a portion of fine meats with the animal's insides. Not expecting the trickery, Zeus went with the fat-covered bones, thinking it was the best portion. He was outraged when he discovered the deception and forbade humans from using fire to cook meat, keep warm, or for any other purpose. Enraged by Prometheus' trick, Zeus punished mankind by denying them the gift of fire. Prometheus felt this was unjust and felt sorry for man's weakened state, so he climbed Mount Olympus and stole the fire from the workshop of Athena and Hephaestus. Sorry. According to myth, he was able to steal the fire by hiding inside a fennel stalk and bringing it down safely from Mount Olympus in order to help ease the struggles of man. So this gave them the ability to harness nature and use it for their own benefit. With fire, humans could elevate their existence with warmth and cooked food. They could also forge weapons to defend themselves and wage war. Ultimately, Prometheus's flames acted as a catalyst for the rapid progression of civilization. To honour this act, the Athenians had a race in which teams of runners passed a flaming torch from one teammate to another. The final runner of the first place team had the privilege of using the torch to light a sacrificial fire on Athena's altar at the Acropolis. The race soon became tradition and marked the origins of the Olympic flame ceremony still taking place today. And if you think about it, the baton rally that we still do in athletics is very symbolic of this as well. So in reaction to the theft of the fire, Zeus tasked Hephaestus with creating the most beautiful and devious creature ever made. Each of the gods gifted the creature with seductive gifts, and even they were amazed at her seductive guile and beautiful evil. This is Pandora, the first woman. So against the advice of his smarter brother, Prometheus accepted Pandora. Shortly after, she opened the jar and brought with her from Mount Olympus. Out of it came a slew of pains and diseases not known to man until this point, and they have been plagued and has been plaguing mankind or humankind ever since. Next, it was time for Zeus to turn his. So this goes into how he was then chained up and for the eagle to eat his liver or heart. So when Hercules Hercules frees Prometheus, and as gratitude for Prometheus' advice to send Atlas to retrieve the golden apples and help him complete one of his labours. Hercules shot the eagle with an arrow, freeing Prometheus from his enduring punishment. Afterward, Zeus and Prometheus finally buried the hatchet and made peace with one another, settling their centuries-old feud. While the trick at while the trick and the theft gave Zeus plenty to be angry about, he had yet another reason to punish Prometheus. As a forethinker, he was the only one to know the identity of the only mortal woman Zeus could not sleep with. According to prophecy, the offspring of their relationship would eventually overthrow Zeus. Prometheus knew who this woman was, but he refused to tell Zeus her identity, giving him severe anxiety over his eventual fall from the top of Olympus. Prometheus, despite his benevolence towards humans, had a complex relationship with ancient Greek religious practices. While there weren't any temples dedicated to Prometheus, as there were for the Olympian gods, he was venerated in specific sites. The Prometheus festival was celebrated in Athens, was one such occasion where his sacrifices for humanity were acknowledged. Additionally, the torch race held during this festival symbolized the stealing of fire. Prometheus's worship was not widespread as that of the Olympian gods. However, in regions where he was revered, the focus was on his sacrifice for mankind. And this was only in specific sites. So he didn't have temples as such, but he did have festivals. So it's a little bit different in that regard. But that is today's video about Prometheus, the forethinker. We will be back next week with some more videos. Until then, I hope everybody has a great weekend and we'll chat soon. Bye!